Hello and welcome to your tarot forecast for the Leo new moon and Lionsgate, August 2021. So today is a very special tarot forecast, not only because we're doing something a little different with the cards, but because we are actually having a new moon tarot forecast on what is known as Lionsgate. So if you're not familiar with that astrology, Lionsgate happens August 8th every year, and it's known as sort of an energetic portal. It's a time period where we tend to feel things accelerate a little bit more, we get a little more seen because it's very Leo energy, and it also can be a time period where we feel a little luckier and we can manifest things a little faster. So the Lionsgate portal actually happens for about a week. So if you've been already feeling that little extra energy, that's possible, but 8/8 is when it actually is opened. So utilize this day to your advantage and manifest what it is that you desire. And with that in mind, we're gonna do a little different, a little longer tarot reading for today's tarot forecast. I have 3 completely different tarot card piles ready for each of you. And so you have the opportunity in just a moment to select from these piles, left, middle, or right, and you will then be able to have a full-on reading based on whatever pile you infused your energy into. So what's gonna happen is, like our other full and new moon forecasts, we're gonna have 4 freebie cards. We're gonna have 4 oracle cards for each of these piles that's gonna be available to everyone. They will cover a past, present, future energy, as well as a total Betty goddess for you to go into this new moon with open eyes, open heart, and a little bit of guidance. And then the other 10 cards that are underneath it, the tarot cards that are underneath the Oracle deck cards, will be available over on my Patreon, patreon.com/Michelle Shea. It is the full-time fortune teller level that gets access to these extended readings. So if you want to know what your full spread says, you'll have to head over to join those Patreon. Or I'm actually going to offer this special card reading as an additional purchase option if you don't want to join the Patreon. I don't know why you wouldn't, because there's plenty of other card readings and goodies that you'll get in addition to this spread. But if that's not your thing, I will have some instructions and a link below to have a one-time extended video purchase. So you can figure that out in the details if that's for you. And other than that, we're gonna dive in with your card selection. So I'm going to put up on the screen the 3 piles that we have here. So take your time to take a deep breath, find out what it is that you want more clarity on, and pick your pile. So now that you've got your pile selected in your mind, you can feel free to comment with your pile selection below, even though you haven't finished the video, just to make sure that you get a little extra energy in there. So whether you're watching this on YouTube or Instagram, comment your pile below, left, middle, or right. And we are going to dive into each one at a time, and I will include timestamps below. If you're watching on YouTube, it's going to be easier to jump ahead. If you're watching on Instagram, you can scroll forward to around that time period in the video to see your selection. And if you want to watch the entire video, I'm certain that there is probably wisdom in each one of the piles for you if you have the time for that. So diving into pile number 1, the pile that was on the left, that is the pile that has this little blue flat stone. So if that is your pile, the stone is actually supposed to bring a lot of divine feminine energy into your life. So you might have been drawn to that energy. You might want a little more meditation in your world. You might want a little more sitting back and receiving as opposed to going out and trying to make things happen. And your cards are from the Total Betty Goddess deck, which, if you didn't know, is a deck of my creation. And it's got 90s icons playing each of the goddesses in the oracle cards. So we'll dive into those. You also have the Vessel Oracle deck as your oracle cards. And in honor of Lionsgate and Leo season, the underneath tarot cards are from the Lioness Oracle. So pile number 1, people, we're going to dive into your cards right now. So first up, I have not looked at these cards, so we're going to see how each one plays out. Your first card, your Total Betty card, is Hathor, played by Brandy Norwood of Moesha. So Hathor is the goddess of the home, and music as well. So music and your home together is a really great way to infuse this goddess's energy into your life. It's a really good time to make sure that your home space is feeling secure and stable and harmonized. So whether that means that you do a little feng shuiing, or you add a couple extra elements to your home, maybe paint a wall a different color, or just start really making your home your sanctuary. Maybe you don't add anything or paint anything, but you start playing music at night before you go to bed, so you can make it this sanctuary and you can make it this ritual. It's definitely an energy of making sure that you are rooted. So if you pick pile number 1, especially with your divine feminine stone and with Hathor as your goddess, I get the feeling that there's gonna be some big stuff happening for you in the near future. And what Spirit is telling me to tell you right now is that you really need to make sure that you are grounded. So this isn't so much about trying to take action towards your goals during this Lion Gate energy. It's about making sure that when the action starts happening, you have a safe and secure and stable rooted place to come back to recharge your battery. So that is your first message that I have from these cards. So then we're gonna dive into past, present, and future from the Vessel Oracle. So your past card is light, present, movement, and future, fear. Okay, take a deep breath, pile number 1. So it feels like with your past card being light, you're coming from a really good place. And I think that's part of the reason that you're being called out to harmonize your home and to connect to your divine feminine, because you're already on that track. You're already in this place where you're connected to your higher self, you're connected to the greater messages that the universe is trying to send you, and you really want to make sure that you're rooting that into your existence now. So rather than just being like floating up in the ether with all these daydreams and all these imagination things that are happening, definitely bring it back into your reality. And I think that starts by creating daily rituals, by being around your home more, by making sure that your home life is really stable and strong, making sure that the way that you take care of your home and you take care of yourself is very ritualistic. Because with your present card coming in with this Lion's Gate with movement, it feels like you are going to have some things happening very quickly. And you want to make sure that you and your self-care isn't slipping through the cracks once things get moving. Yeah, there's definitely a feeling of, you've been so tapped in that you might have kind of lost track of reality and your body and what you need to do to feel stable. And when the movement kicks in, you want to still be connected to that light energy and still be connected to your higher self, but you also make sure that you can still exist on this earthly plane and you can move about the world in a way that feels stable and strong. So my next recommendation for you, pile number 1, is to really, really get rooted into a routine. These next couple days, especially around this Lion's Gate energy, as those manifestations are starting to flow in, make sure that you are taking as stable as possible time, that you're sleeping the certain number of hours at night that you need, you're waking up at a certain time and getting your morning routine in place. If you do not have a morning routine, please get one, even if it's just sitting for 5 minutes in meditation in the morning or journaling out whatever you dreamed the night before. There's definitely a calling out for getting yourself grounded before the action starts each day. And for me, I like to have a little bit of yoga. That always helps to make me feel like back in my body and also at peace in my mind. So whatever that morning practice is for you, morning pages are great if you're an artist way person. If you're not, check that out. It's a lot of journaling, a lot of free writing. It's a very good way to tap into your creativity. But that's going to set your day up for feeling connected to yourself, connected to that light energy, even as things start to get a little chaotic around you. So really make that your top priority. Also make food a priority. If you're anything like me, when you get busy, you kind of forget to eat. You forget to take care of your basic human needs. So if that's how you do it, if you got a little sacral chakra healing like I do that always needs to come into balance, make sure that food is very nourishing, very well prepared. Try not to be getting a lot of fast food to nourish yourself. You really want to make sure that you're thinking of the energetics of the food that you're putting in your body. The faster it's made and available to you, the faster it's metabolized, the more fast-paced it's going to make your body feel. Check into whole grains, root vegetables, those things are gonna make you feel grounded as well. So calling back to that Hathor energy, it may not be literally about your home all the time. It might be about feeling at home and connected to the earth. So really eat foods that make you feel connected to your body and to the earth and the seasons around you. The future card is coming in with fear. So there's a reason you're establishing these habits. There's a reason that you're coming from this place of being more rooted, more grounded, but also still connected to your higher self, because this change is gonna bring in a little bit of a fear, because that's what change does. Even when it's good change, there's still fear of imposter syndrome, there's still fear of losing the things that you've acquired through your good fortune and your good luck. So another thing that I would recommend is really take a look at how you feel about your own self-worth and what you deserve. Because if you call in your best manifestations and somewhere deep inside you there's a voice that says that you don't deserve these things, you could potentially either not enjoy them because you have all this fear, or lose them because you are feeling unworthy. So really try to match your vibration of your manifestations now before they come in, so that it doesn't feel like there's this rush of fear and this rush of feeling that you're gonna lose something once you've acquired it. This is a story that's happening here, pile number one. So I have a feeling that the cards are gonna tell us a little bit more about what's to come in regards to this movement forward, in regards to what you might be fearing. So if you feel like you need to know more information about this, we are gonna dive into your Lioness Oracle Tarot cards. And if you're watching on the Patreon, that happens right now. So if you picked pile number 2, that would be the pile with this little orange crystal. You were drawn to either the cards or the crystal, and the crystal is orange calcite. It is all about your sacral chakra, your passion, your creativity. It's a really great stone to connect to your sexuality as well, but it's very, very sacral chakra energy. So we're really working on that. And then you also chose the pile that has your Total Betty card, of course. We have the Fuzzy Prism Oracle cards for your Oracle deck. And for those that are diving into the tarot, we have the Moonchild Tarot. So there's lots of shininess, lots of shiny objects, which makes sense because the sacral chakra is about pleasure and finding the things in your life that feel a little luxurious. So shiny, sparkly things. And as a fairy soul myself, I relate to pile number 2 for going after the shiny sparkle. So we're gonna dive into those first 4 oracle cards for the general collective, and then we'll dive into the tarot cards. So if you find that you are interested, you can look below for the information on how to either join the Patreon for the rest of the reading or purchase a single time of this extended tarot video. So pile number 2, your Total Betty Goddess card, which I haven't looked at. These cards are new to me. I'm gonna be going through them with you. Is Ocean, who is the card that I would have imagined to go with this stone. I didn't do this on purpose. I didn't look at any of these. I just put stones with piles. So Ocean is Ocean, or there's a lot of different ways to say these goddess names, guys. So Oshun, just pick one. I'm sorry if you have a different way of saying it. The goddess's energy is still the same no matter what we're calling her. She's played by 90s Miss Education of Lauryn Hill. And she is the goddess of pleasure and sensuality and fluid energy and water and abundance and money and calling in your riches. It's very much the energy of don't be a hard rock when you really are a gem. So definitely beautiful, beautiful energy of creativity and abundance and sensuality. So I'm excited to see what these cards have in store for you guys. So let's dive in. Our oracle cards from the Fuzzy Prism Oracle. We have a past of ask, future or present of focus, and a future of meditation. All right, so pile number 2, you almost are like an opposite energy to pile number 1. So that's very interesting. So your past is coming in with ask. So I have a feeling that you've been really clarifying a lot of your manifestations as of late. You definitely have been asking for a lot of things in your life that you want to come up, a lot of manifestations that you want to come in, whether you know it or not. You may not even have like a manifestation practice, but like energetically you've been asking for a lot of things. And Lionsgate is a perfect time to be doing that. It's a good time to be manifesting. The present for Lionsgate and for this new moon is focus. So this is telling me that your asking might be a little scattered and a little all over the place. And the beautiful thing about that is you're still launching rockets of desire out into the universe so that you can bring in those manifestations, even if it is a little scattered. But to get really, really clear on your manifestations so that you call in the right thing, you gotta focus. So take this new moon to pick one or two of those manifestations that you've been trying to call in and dive in deep with the details. I like to think of manifesting, especially in this particular way, as if you were ordering a customized order off of a catalog. I use Amazon a lot of times, but you're not going to be customizing stuff usually on Amazon. So let's say you're ordering a customized couch, and you want to make sure that you're picking the wood that it's made of. You want to make sure that you're picking the pattern of the fabric, the texture of the fabric, the style of the overall like structure of the furniture. Yeah, you want to make sure that you go nitty gritty with it, especially if you're going to the trouble of ordering something custom made. You want to pay attention to every detail. And the same thing goes for when you're trying to manifest something for your life. You want to pay attention to the details, because if you don't, you're going to say that you want a date and you're going to call in a really creepy date because you didn't check all the boxes about what you wanted. You didn't tell them what kind of wood and fabric and style. So you're going to call in a real itchy couch if you don't focus on your manifestations. You're gonna call in a couch that looks beautiful, but the second that you sit down on it, the fabric makes you break out in hives. So get clear. I hope that you understand this couch metaphor. This furniture metaphor is about your love, your career, whatever it is you're trying to call in. So narrow it down. Don't go trying to manifest a whole new life from this way. I would even say pick one. Pick one for this new moon, one area of focus that you really want to manifest something in. And check all those boxes. Customize it to fit your needs. Because if you don't, you're gonna end up with something that's almost what you wanted, but not quite. And that's gonna feel weird. And it's probably gonna get you into some sticky situations where you don't know if you should stay or you should go. So just call in the right thing to begin with so that you can enjoy your manifestation. And then the future card is meditation. My favorite thing to recommend on this channel, and it is definitely a card in this particular spread that's also telling us the story of ask, get clear about what you're asking for, and then let it go a little bit. Because meditation is definitely that state of surrender. So use this new moon to be really clear, write it all out, check all the boxes on your order form, and then put it away in a drawer somewhere that you don't look at it. Put it out of your mind and go do something else. And when you have to feel like you can't stop thinking about it, meditate and try to stop thinking about anything. And that's gonna be what helps you to allow something to come in. Trust that you've already done the work, you've already put it out there, and then surrender it, which is a really beautiful energy of this ocean card, because it's fluid. It's allowing for the tide to come in. You don't force the tide to come in. You wait until the moon is full and it comes in at you. And that's beautiful because that's how manifestations work. We do our manifesting, goal setting, customized order form on the new moon. And then the full moon, either the next month or 6 months later, is when those manifestations start to come in like the tide. But you can't keep clinging to it. get it clear, and then let it go. I'm really excited to see what these tarot cards have in store for you. So pile number 2, if you're wanting to dive in to see what the beautiful, mystical Moonchild tarot cards have to add to this message, we're gonna be doing that on the Patreon, or if you wanna purchase the single video below. And if you're watching this on Patreon, the rest of your reading starts right now. So next up, we have pile number 3. Whew, this has been a marathon of card readings, guys. So pile number 3, I promise you still have my energy and focus. We are diving in to your cards with this beautiful little light blue stone that I always forget the name of. If you do really want to know, because you want one, comment below and I'll look it up for you. But it is, I do remember that it is a stone of self-expression. It's really good for people that are healing from addiction. And it's really good for singers and writers that really want to express their true, beautiful voice. So this is the stone you were drawn to, or you were drawn to the cards, in which case you were drawn to Total Betty Goddess and 2 of the Wild Unknown decks. We have the Spirit Animal, or the Animal Spirit deck for your Oracle cards, and for those of you diving in with the tarot cards, we have the Wild Unknown Tarot. So let's dive in. Your Total Betty Goddess, which I'm seeing for the first time, I haven't looked at any of these cards, is Nimozine. So played by Clarissa from Clarissa Explains It All. This is the goddess of memory and storytelling. So right away I'm gonna say that if you pick pile number 3, you got some stories to share, especially from your blue throat chakra opening stone. You got some stuff to share with the world. So we'll see what that has to say, what's in store. So your 3 oracle cards from the Animal Spirit deck are a black egg as your past, the unicorn as your present, and the dolphin as your future. So 2 of these cards are like fantasy animals that are special for the Spirit Animal deck. There are categories of elements in the Animal Spirit deck. There is earth, fire, water, air, and then there's a special category called spirit, which relate to each of the chakras. So you're coming in with your past and your present as these spirit cards, and then you have a water element for your future. So right off the bat, we're diving in with the black egg from your past, which is so fitting because the black egg is connected to the throat chakra. So again, you've known for a while now that you have stories to tell and that you have things to say. The black egg is a beautiful card that comes in to remind us to not use our voice for gossip or hearsay or just tedious small talk, but instead to savor it and save it up for the important things that you have to share with the world. So just be mindful of how much you're, posting online and the quality of content that you're both speaking out into the world and receiving back, because the throat chakra also dictates how we receive energy through our ears. So what are you listening to? What are you watching? What are you scrolling through on your feed? And that's already been happening in your past. You've already been kind of contemplating these things. We're moving into the present with this lion's gate of the unicorn. And the unicorn is the third eye chakra, which makes sense. Unicorn horn. So the unicorn is basically saying that during this new moon, during this lion's gate energy, you are tapping into your intuition on a deeper level. So it's interesting that we're moving up because we're coming from this place of learning how to communicate and when to stay silent. And then through that, you're figuring out how to get silent enough to tap into the intuition you need and know what is the thing that you need to say. So your intuition is what helps with that editing, that helps with what's necessary and what's unnecessary to be vocalized. So it's gonna be a really beautiful way to kind of like pull yourself back into your truth and figure out what your story is. So the future card of the dolphin is coming in with a big healer energy. So most of you that pick pile number 3, you are either aware that you are a healer or you're unaware that you're a healer, but either way, you're definitely stepping into your healer powers. I forgot to show you. This was the black egg. This is the unicorn, just so you get those beautiful visuals. And then now you've got this beautiful dolphin energy. And the dolphin is a presence that you're starting to cultivate through this intuition and through this knowing what to express through your voice. And it's definitely a presence that's very calming and very healing just to be around. So you're cultivating a side of yourself that makes you a healer, even if you're just sitting next to someone and being silent. And that's a really beautiful way to look at it whenever you're trying to cultivate that throat chakra, because you can just be silent with people and still help them. So know that your presence is healing. And it's because you have tapped into this intuition and this awareness of when to speak and when to hold back. It's also a really great card of recognizing your own power and recognizing that you have this presence to you. So you might start to just be quiet and observe how people are around you. You might be the type of person that people tend to just unload their problems on, which is both a blessing and a curse. But you're definitely the type of person that if you haven't already in your life, you're gonna start inviting in these type of personalities that are eager to be healed and eager to hear your stories and your advice. And that also comes with an element of needing to know how to protect yourself, which I think is also coming into that throat chakra balancing of when to speak and when to hold back, because sometimes holding on to your stories is a more powerful way to protect your energy than sharing them. But it definitely shouldn't be an energy that you feel like you need to close off. It's a very playful energy, it's a very connected energy, and it's an energy that's definitely based in community. Like dolphins really have fun with their playmates. So allow that to be what you're calling in for your future. With that in mind, we're gonna dive into the Wild Unknown cards to clarify all of this, maybe to figure out a little bit more of what your story and what your healing powers are gonna be doing in your life. So if you're interested in diving into the Wild Unknown Tarot, Patreon, you can join below. Also, information below if you want to purchase the video itself just one time. And if you're watching this on the Patreon, the rest of your reading starts right now. And I am going to get a big glass of water because that was a lot of talking. So thank you for being here with me. Enjoy your beautiful manifestations this new moon, and I look forward to seeing you again soon, either at michelleshayewalker.com, at Michelle Shay on Instagram, or over on YouTube /Michelle Shay Walker.